Hey team, so today's video I just want to go over performance enhancing drugs in sports, and the reason why I wanted to just give my opinion on this is there was a subscriber who reached out to me and was leaving a comment, hey, the amount of people that can run a sub 220 marathon is very slim, and most athletes would have to take performance enhancing drugs in order to run a time that fast. The truth is, you definitely, I had to work from 1992. I had to run from 1992 until 2007 to achieve that time of 2:19:35 for the marathon. If you are new to the channel, I finished fourth place in Top American at the 2007 California International Marathon, and I had many setbacks along the ways leading up to that particular event and performance. But I never used performance enhancing drugs in sports or in middle to long distance running ever. At the end of the day, all running was to me was a path to get the most out of myself that I possibly could get. I knew I had a certain amount of talent, but I didn't have the talent to be, an Olympic medalist. But I did have the talent to get to a point where I could run an Olympic trials qualifying time in the marathon distance. And you are going to have times when you're training for the marathon where you do not think that this particular event is for you. My best recommendation is just to stay tenacious in what you're doing. Stay committed. Don't rely on drugs. You don't need it. There's more at the end of the day to life than running. A lot of these athletes that are taking performance enhancing drugs in sports it's their life. It's like all they think about, and there is nothing, they have to take that in order to continue to adapt and be able to compete at those world-class levels. I see athletes out there all the time breaking the 2 hour and 20-minute marathon. It's a fast time, but it's not, if you run a 2:19 marathon, you're not going to win the Boston Marathon. You're not going to have a world ranking, but you will have a national class ranking, at least here in the States. I mean, there are a lot of countries in the world where their national record is not a 2:19 marathon. So it just depends. I mean, it is a fast time, but it's not a time that is impossible for a lot of athletes. Drugs is not the way to go, period. Okay? I always believed in, if you can't look yourself in the mirror and know that you did the very best you possibly could on your own, then you have to accept the fact that that's the best that you possibly can put, bring out of your body. And I think that it's sad that there's performance enhancing drugs in sports, and not just in running, but in cycling and just about every other sport at the elite world class level. Like I said, you have to do the very best that you possibly can in your own preparation. And there's more to life than sports. The most important thing is that you have a support system around you, that you have, here on the channel, you have me to hold you accountable. I mean, leave comments, whether it's a training related question or you have a comment about how to run a faster race or about your new personal best. But definitely know that there are people around you that are surrounding you that will care about you regardless of what type of effort you drop. Okay, the most important thing that a lot of us take for granted is our health, and we get so caught up in how fast other athletes run or how fast we run. We don't realize how blessed we are to get out and be able to move and to be able to be fit and to be excited about this sport. But know that performance enhancing drugs in sports is a reality. And hearing that comment from that individual is talking about, training will definitely provide a stimulus, but a lot of athletes can't run a 2:20 time, maybe not even break 3 hours. But just from my own experience, running 2 hours and 20 minutes for me was like making the Olympic team. To finish fourth place in a world-class event at the California International Marathon, to me was a combination of many years of hard training that got me to a point where I could run that fast. And also know, for the athletes that are curious about how I went from 2:43:36 to 2:19, I ran 2:43:36 in my debut at the 2002 New York City Marathon, and I was running that event as a member of a charity, a military charity team, where we were to start in last place. We weren't allowed to start the race in New York City at the start of the Verrazano Bridge until every runner had crossed the start line, and it wasn't until then we weren't permitted to start the race. So I went from 32,189th place to 257th place overall by the finish line. And for every individual we passed, Chase Manhattan Bank was donating $1 to lung cancer research. So it was a great experience for me but I never envisioned myself being a marathoner. So the same with you. Maybe you're a miler now or a sprinter, and you're thinking about running a 5K, and maybe you never thought about being a 5K or 10K athlete. Do the very best you can with the talent that you have. If you're lacking talent, you can make up for it with your work ethic. Again, I didn't have a great deal of talent either, but what most athletes don't see is the decades of running and preparing, the process behind that event, the event where everybody sees the fast time. They don't see the process that went into that fast time. And that's the problem, and they see these top athletes, and there are many world-class athletes, national-class athletes out there who are doing it legitimately. They're training their tails off. They're focusing on all the other fundamentals that go into running fast times: proper nutrition, proper rest, proper mental mindset, mental training, mental rehearsal, mesotherapy, making sure they're taking ice baths after hard workouts. They're doing all the other things that go into running at a world-class level or at a very elite level. And so there are legitimate athletes out there, but I definitely think that there are numerous athletes out there that are competing at the world-class level or running world-class times that are unfortunately taking performance-enhancing drugs. So this video is not for most of you who watch this, but it is something to be aware of, because you will be competing against athletes who will be taking these performance-enhancing drugs. Over the years, I definitely competed against many athletes who I knew, and who later, through media, I found out that were taking performance-enhancing drugs. So just at the end of the day, do the very best you can with the amount of ability that you have. If you're lacking talent, you can make up for it with your work ethic. It's just going to take you a lot longer than somebody that has a great deal of talent. For me personally, it took me from running from 1992 to 2007 to run a 219 marathon. For somebody that's extremely talented or who's taking drugs, they could run a 219 marathon, as a long run, and these athletes that are breaking 203, 202 for the marathon, it's hard for me to believe that somebody that's broken 2 hours for the marathon is clean. But I do know that there are athletes out there that have a very high ceiling when it comes to lactic acid clearance. They're able to clear lactic acid very efficiently, and more importantly, these athletes that are running at these really fast times, they're able to produce a very small amount of lactic acid running at very fast paces. There are a lot of athletes, and I'm an example of this, that accumulate a great deal of lactic acid when they're running faster. So that being said, some of us have a higher capacity for lactic acid clearance, and so that those athletes can run at very fast paces for a very long amount of time. But if you don't have a great deal of talent, then you have to rely on long-term thinking and making sure that you're patient and know that there's going to be ups and downs in your preparation, because you're not choosing to use performance-enhancing drugs. You know that it's not only unhealthy, unethical, it's just you would have to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you didn't do it properly. You cheated, and that's not the way to go in this sport or in anything else you do. Just stay focused on consistent action on a daily basis. Focus on your build-up. Focus on training at and below goal race pace, whatever goal pace that is that you're going for. Whether it's breaking a 2-hour half marathon and run 9:09 mile pace or 5:41 kilometer pace, or you're trying to break a 5-minute mile, or maybe a sub 12-minute 2 mile. Whatever that is, you have to make sure that you're spending a higher percentage of your weekly training at or below those paces. So do the best you can with the amount of talent and capability that you have, and let that be enough. So if you have any other questions regarding training or racing or mindset, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. Check out the resources below all of my videos or on RunDreamAchieve.com. And if there's anything else I can help you all out with, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I will definitely respond back to your comments. I love hearing from you all, and I look forward to talking to you all in the next video.